Over to the set here, and we're going to start to drill down, forgive the pun, on the fall in crude today. The release of the SPR and the rally in the dollar, don't forget that, they do make for a potent 1-2 punch. Mark Fisher is the founder and CEO of MBF Asset Management. He's also one of the biggest energy traders on the NYMEX. That is where we find him. Mark, you surprised at all by the news on the SPR?
I'm surprised because I can't believe they actually did it, because now the clock starts ticking. I mean, it's one thing when the governments have unlimited amount of paper money to just push through the system, but when you start playing a dangerous game of releasing strategic reserves to try to control or to, limit where price can go, you're going into uncharted waters, and you're going into a game where, like in a poker game, you don't have many chips.
Right. Well, all right. You said you're really surprised they did it. So what led you to believe they ultimately wouldn't do it, I guess, and giving you that surprise?
I guess I'm surprised at the fact that cooler heads didn't prevail in the United States and realized that, okay, you know what? The economy is stalled. We need to go ahead and invigorate the economy. We're not going to have QE3. We need to actually address the fundamental issues in the economy. We need to get a balanced budget. Instead, you go ahead and try to release, 30 million barrels of production in this country, which aren't even really all the right type of grade of crude. I mean, if this goes on for 6 months and you release 180 million barrels of crude, it's over 25% of the SPR in this country alone.
Right. I mean, but at the same time, if you don't release any more, what are you releasing? About 1.5 days supply or something like that? I mean, does it really end up making a difference, or explain why it is of importance, even if it were to stay at that? I
think because this is a psychological mechanism. I think this is I think that in this case, the governments are bringing a knife to a gunfight when in reality, there's only X amount of supply. I mean, what happens if there's, God forbid, another Katrina this summer, or there's another disaster someplace else in the world, and you really need to release, the reserves? What happens when we go ahead and we get to a point where, the marketplace is going to test over the next period of time the resolve of the governments to keep doing this, and eventually the governments don't. This isn't paper money. This is a tangible asset that the governments don't have a lot of. And I think this is, there's no lesson here from the 30s to learn. We're now in uncharted territory. Bernanke cannot go back and say that there's a lesson here from the 30s. You print, create a wealth effect and see what happens. Now, when you're not going to have QE3 and you're now going to try to, for lack of a better word, control, manipulate the price of energy, good luck.
Fish, first of all, every time you come on, you look better and better. So I just said to David, it's unbelievable how svelte you're looking. You look great. But let me ask you about this. Today's activity, is that going to change your fundamental call that you gave us a couple weeks back that we'd never print $80 again full crude in your lifetime? Obviously, that's a fundamental call. Given what they've done in D.C. today and around the world, is that going to change that?
No, I don't think so. I don't think it's going to change at all. In fact, if you see, the price is stabilized at around $91. Could it go down to $88 on this news? Are you going to have some more fund liquidation? You could. But in reality, Gary, it's a very interesting dynamic. This is a sign of desperation. You don't do this if you have anything left in your arsenal.
So, Mark, if we do get some sort of terrible hurricane season, I think your point is that the upside has now been accelerated in terms of where we may go on the upside as a result of this release today in what was not a market that you felt needed intervention.
The interesting thing is, it's sort of like when the Swiss Swiss central bank tried to go ahead and control the price of the Swiss franc versus the euro currency. That didn't end right. And I think this isn't going to end right either. I mean, the only thing, Gary, I think that people aren't focused on yet is if you look at the price of crude at $230 yesterday, this information, in my opinion, for what it's worth, was leaked.
Yeah, I was wondering about that, Mark. I mean, this morning before it came out, we had crude down 4% already.
No, it's interesting because I think the CFTC has done an admirable job of investigating price anomalies. I mean, this is a layup. I mean, what happened after the close of 2:30 when you closed on the highs and you're immediately 70 cents off the high in about 5 minutes, and I don't know if you can bring up a chart of what happened.
We did, yeah.
I mean, it's kind of crazy. I mean, somebody knew something, and I'd be shocked to see. I think everyone will be surprised to see a week from now, a month from now, 2 months from now, when the investigation is conducted, somebody from the IEA leaked this to somebody.
Yeah. All right. Mark, as always, very much appreciate your insights. The rapidly disappearing Mark.
Man, does he look good. By the way, you think it was, look at him. David, maybe it was some of the members of Congress that was shorting oil at the end of the day yesterday.
Oh, because of their great trading record?
Exactly,
yeah.
exactly.
Well, we'll see. All right. Mark Fisher, as always, from MBF.